A great Thursday morning. There, great Thursday morning. It is going to be a hot day in the city of Brownsville. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Why won't you be? Why won't you be? Come on and be my neighbor. Let me see if I can get my live stream into out of the friend zone, guys. Slow day. Good morning. Good morning. It's going to be a slow day today. I just don't know why. It just feels like a very slow day. There's not much that has transpired in the past couple of days, except that we still don't have much of information about anything other. Good morning, future mayor. Good morning, Papa. Always looking as handsome as always. And someday, someday, someday. Well, thank you. Thank you, Frank. Okay. And it was going to be so thank you, Frank. Love you, Baba. I appreciate that. Um, Guys, it's just an interesting kind of week. Good morning. Good morning. Bendiciones. Bendiciones. Thank you, Papa. I appreciate that. Uh, Let me say, guys, it's just been an interesting type of week, and there's still a lot of things that we don't completely understand and completely know. But one of the things that I hope that we can encourage people out there is there's there's a lot of lessons to be learned as to what has transpired in our community in the past couple of days, and I would hope that we all learn from those lessons. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Hilda. Congratulations on the marriage license. um, Let me say that there's a lot of lessons that should have been learned, needed to be learned from everyone moving forward. Uh, First of all, one of the things that I think that was very prevalent after, and again, hopefully today will be the last day that we make mention of what happened on Tuesday, and continue to move forward to the district and to local law enforcement. Guys, you always have to have a lead. There should be some spokesperson that speaks for everyone out there, and never have a press conference minutes after an incident has occurred. And one of the things that I think that they're going to come out and say is, well, it's always best to reassure people. There was very little reassuring done on Tuesday. Very little. I think it just fueled the fire of cover up, of not being forthright, of not being transparent. All that needed to happen was a quick statement saying students are safe, staff is safe, uh, suspects have been detained, and it is an ongoing investigation. It is fluid. That's all that we needed to hear. I think that there was some confusion in regards to law enforcement showing up at the wrong school. I think individuals had made mention. I actually didn't see it. I think Frankie was one of the individuals that commented on it. That there were FBI agents that appeared, guns in hand, at Perkins and not at Porter. Could that have been part of the confusion? Maybe. We don't know. We don't know. So we are. One of the things is very clear. Morning from Gold's Gym, Bonnie, exercise. One of the things, Doc, here, we are not completely prepared for these types of situations. And maybe, and one of the things that I stated today on the Channel Four, one of the Channel Four stories was we've got to stop defunding the police. No more defunding the police. Let's provide our police officers with adequate resources and adequate training, guys. And this defund the police crap, guys, has got to be language that is non acceptable in our area because it is a very prevalent language in a lot of other cities throughout the country. It's got to come to a stop. Stop the defund the police. Uh, let's talk a little bit about what's happening at the county and have more open conversations with our sheriff department. Because one of the things that our county leadership, county commissioners, have done, have stifled the potential, the strength of our Cameron County Sheriff's Department. And that's very, very unfortunate. Give them any and all resources that they need and stop diverting the funds to those programs that bring us very little. Please. So, more funds for our police departments, more resources, and a lot more training. Again, I'm not going to second guess anyone, but with the facts that have already been shared, it looks iffy that shooting at the vehicle was actually necessary. Again, did you go to the city meeting? No, I'm going to the city meeting where there the actually I'm going to go to the city meeting on Friday. It's the ethics meeting. Hey, Frankie,
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
it's going good. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, pretty good. Just trying to wrap my head around what's been transpiring with BISD and local law enforcement. Uh, there was a comment that was made that does make it sound as if this was possibly just some kids driving recklessly. They did have a stolen vehicle, but you know, preliminary information used, and this was reported by Brownsville PD, was that there was shots fired, that there was this incident. So it made it seem as if they created hysteria. Now, a lot's going to depend on what else they find. But as of right now, they haven't found a gun, they haven't found a weapon. The weapon that was used obviously was the vehicle. But it's going to be very interesting to note, how this all unfolds, because it does. And again, information is very, very fresh and new, but it does seem as if this officer shot, um,
The vehicle.
I would even say recklessly. But again, we did see how Uvalde, that situation in Uvalde, we saw that there was no communication and no action. Did this incident merit for the officer to take out his weapon and shoot? Only time will tell. But not finding a gun, and the individual in question, he did state it before the judge. I didn't have a gun. There was no gun. So this just leads us all to believe that, did the officer shoot at the vehicle while it was fleeing, which is worse.
Yeah, again, there was just so much confusion because even BPD was very, very careful when they put out their timeline, Frankie. I don't know if you noticed that, but that came on later on in the evening when they said, "Look it," and I think, and this is what I read from it, we're washing our hands because it was BISD police. They called. They called at no. Brownsville Police Department reported at 8:44. We got a call that there was a stolen gray vehicle. 8:44. At 8:48, Frankie, they got a call from BISD police that someone had shot, supposedly shot at the school. And in 2 minutes, Brownsville Police Department was there. But by then, the car had already peeled out. Now, they stated on their timeline that BISD police, someone in dispatch, contacted them about a shooting at Porter. And they're saying that's what we were told. Does that make sense? What? Mute, mute.
What makes sense, and I believe this was touched on earlier, was that there's no way that in 5 minutes a BISD officer would know that a gray vehicle had was reported stolen. And do BISD police officers, do they interfere? Do they assist local law enforcement? Yeah, they probably do, but it's not their number one priority to look out for stolen vehicles. So that's very, very alarming. How was this car reported, and then 5 minutes later, we get the call from BISD like, oh, I spotted the car.
2 minutes
Uh,
later.
or a few minutes later, right? Now, was it
Well,
because the shots were fired? And another thing, Erasmo, one thing that I do want to question is one thing that many individuals talked about from Uvalde was who was in control, who was in command. Are we kind of seeing this now where why did Brownsville PD release a timeline? Shouldn't that have been BISD? Uh, should shouldn't BISD police be at the helm of this? Now, Brownsville PD did assist; they did make the arrest. So, does that make them the ones in charge of this case that will present the evidence to our district attorney? It just seems as if BISD is kind of like treading the water, just obviously getting their facts in a row, but something's not lining up right. And again, we're all in support of officers. And one thing that we can all agree is that we're glad that this officer took action, especially on the first day of school. But everyone keeps on asking, what did this merit for him to take out a vehicle? Was he quick on the draw, so to speak?
yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. And it was 4 minutes. I'm sorry, 8:44 to 8:48. But take into account, Frankie, if that's 4 minutes. By then, there had already been un encuentro with BISD officer and the people in the car, because the call that was brought in at 8:48, which is what the Brownsville Police Department said, they said there's a shooting at Porter. A car has shot at Porter. So that came in after the shooting. So el encuentro that the BISD officer had with the car was probably about 8:40, 8:44, before or right at the time that the car was reported stolen. So there's no way that the BISD officers at Porter, had any inkling or knowing that this car was reported stolen. Impossible. So it wasn't because it was a stolen car. And my fear was that they were trying to make that fit into the narrative, saying, like, well, it was a stolen car, which I still have doubts that it was even a stolen car. I'm going to believe that it was one of these, se lo llevó mi baby daddy, or my son took the car, you know?
And, and one thing that I did come across, like I did come across an article, and I'll share it in a bit, where this reporter is saying, look how bad they're making these young men look. They're making them look like assailants. They're making them look like they were the aggressors, that they had a vehicle and were shooting and probably, putting at risk our community on the first day of school. And every headline, whether that be Channel 4, KRGV, all we heard was shooters, the shooters, the shooters, which, one would think, oh crap, we there's a threat. But in reality, after the investigation and after these two individuals were presented before the judge, we found out that no gun, no weapon was seized from the incident. So it just goes to show that right now the media is painting these kids as the assailants, as the aggressors. Again, they did steal a vehicle, but for them to classify them as shooters, as assailants, we jumped the gun. We said, "Oh, there's a shooting," and when all the facts came together, we actually found out that the only ones that shot were BISD.
Yeah,
So that in itself presents a grim picture of those two men, based on all these media reportings. And again, you're talking about Univision, Fox Local, NBC, Channel 4, Channel 5, all these media outlets repeating shooters, 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 which in fact, there was no gun.
there was no gun. And again, it's a very, very horrible situation. I feel for the kids. I feel for the kids because they're huercos. 16, 17, and 18, they're still huercos. Kids today are dumb. Kids today, are not adults. I don't care if the kid's 18 or 17. They're not adults. I mean, they're going to be charged as adults. And again, rightfully so. Rightfully so. But they're huercos. I don't think, and one of I don't think that shooting at the vehicle was warranted, merited. And that's a scary situation. And I've already made mention of my reason why. One of the things that the superintendent said was that there was other students present, other parents present. Why are you shooting at an ongoing vehicle if there's students and staff present? We haven't even heard if the officer had been placed on leave, which is, I think, is protocol. Officers should be placed on leave when there's an investigation. But you brought up the FBI agents at Perkins. Was there confusion in regards to which school it actually was happening? That armed men went to Perkins? Because I had noticed that they had FBI insignia on them, and again, I think I saw that on your show, or you had made mention of it, and I mean, I just posted the videos that were sent in, but to our defense, guys, it was sent to me exactly at 9 o'clock when we were starting the show, and what was sent in was what was posted, so we didn't know what was going on. And at 10 o'clock, when they had the press conference, they didn't know what was going on. And I think they just made it worse. What's your take on the FBI agents?
I think that it was a mistake. You know, Perkins with a P, Porter with a P. They're obviously they might not be familiar with this area. And maybe that was the confusion. But if you see the pictures, they were there to defend. They were there to take action. They were they were heavily armed. So I believe that there was a confusion. They did hear about a shooting. Maybe they got it on the radio. Maybe somebody called them like, "Hey, shots fired at Porter, shots fired at maybe the one delivering the message uh, got confused and said Perkins." But um, BISD does not do a good job of communication. They posted that there was no lockdown at Perkins. And what do we have? We have parents calling us and saying, "Hey, yes, there is people.
Video.
There is something going on here at Perkins." So what does that lead us to believe? That parents aren't going to believe what BISD has to say, that they're going to not trust the communication that is coming from BISD. And that is the reasons why many individuals tune in to the likes of Erasmo Castro and read blogs, because they give us that information that these entities, whether that be BISD, PUB, the city of Brownsville, Cameron County, the information that they don't want us to hear, or that they feel that we're not privy to, or it's not important. But again, for BISD to say that Perkins was not on a lockdown when there was a video posted, there were pictures of a classroom dark, kids under their desks, frantically fearing for their lives, and BISD saying, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with Perkins." It kind of just gives us a bad taste in our mouths, where there is no transparency, there is no communication, And then they wonder why people come on to the Erasmo Castro show, because they do want to feel, they do want to hear these facts unfold, black and white.
as they're happening. I read that the BAC officer told him to stop, and that's when he fires because supposedly they were going at him with a car. Yeah, yes, that is what we've been told. I don't think that that's exactly how it happened. I'm going to, and again, what the facts that are going to come out are going to come from the body cam and from the videos at the school, plus take into consideration were shots fired at the front part of the car, then the car is coming at you, or were they fired at the back part of the car? And that's a mistake. I don't think you can discharge your weapon at the back of a vehicle once it's already past you, because then your life is not in danger anymore. Does that make sense, Frankie?
It does, but this if you could go back very quickly to Norma, very very quickly, that kind of does make sense, doesn't it, Erasmo? Like that's initially what I thought. I thought that first day of school, you know how everybody's in a hurry and either parents and there's long lines and people are just like frustrated, like let me get out. It doesn't help that they do have a hot car, they do have a stolen vehicle on their hands. But my initial thought was, they were frustrated. Let me get out of this line, and they went to one side. The officer said, "Hey, stop." And this guy just floored it. And that's when I think that the shots were fired. But according to Dr. Gutierrez, he does make mention that the community, whether that be the students, faculty, staff, community members, and the officer's life was at risk. That is the reason why Dr. Rene Gutierrez said that the officer discharged his weapon.
Again, supposedly. We'll find out. Yes, I think the media is making it worse. I agree. And look, one of the things that it goes, is this another Uvalde? Channel 4 is going to have an exclusive show like an Uvalde situation. This is nothing like Uvalde, folks. Nothing like Uvalde. There was no shooting at the school. The students didn't have a weapon. Their intent was not to shoot up a school. This is nothing like Uvalde, guys. And it's a disservice to the community when news media tries to send, what's the
Fluff,
word?
fluff up, fluff up.
Fluff up, sensationalize,
Yeah.
sensationalize something, guys, because of ratings. Yes, I think kids don't deserve that they're get the kids don't deserve what they're getting. If you go back and look at the kids' background, guys, especially one of the kids, guys, it's a very very sad situation. Look, I made this comment this morning, and I'm going to stick to it. Uh, Look, guys, it's all systematic of the community that we live in. I remember we used to have a boys and girls club. Why is it that we haven't invested back into our community and our mental health issues here locally? Why don't we have a Big Brothers program? A long time ago, Frankie, we used to have a Big Brothers program. I don't think it's in existence anymore. These are the type of programs that have been defunded. These are the type of programs where we diverted our resources as a city to fund bike trails and other crap, and put money in politicians' pocket. Why can't we go back and fund these programs that actually were impactful in our community? And I wish Maggie would come on sometime, because Maggie was part of that program. Have we defunded a lot of the programs that were geared towards, these types of situations with these children that have broken homes, that have difficult situations at homes? I don't know. Whose life was in danger that motivated the police officer? That's the question. Hey, Erasmo, how is it possible that a 5A school and a major idea campus have no sidewalks and only a tiny back road as their main access? You should know where this is. Yes. I fought the county, guys. I fought the county in regards to getting us these sidewalks over there at Lopez. I know exactly what you're talking about, Ozzy. It's ridiculous. I've shared the pictures and the video where our students are literally walking in the middle of traffic, trying to get onto campus. But again, our resources go to crap instead of going to what it's really needed. The question is, was the car fleeing because they got scared and security got shot? That is not justified. That's my question. Because Frankie, if you're getting shot at, Frankie, I don't care if you're getting shot by President Biden himself. You step on the gas, Frankie.
Yeah, they were probably frantic and they did fear for their life, obviously. And whenever you tell people to stop, either before or after a shooting, they're not going to stop. Much less, teenagers. So yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense.
What do school districts do as drugs in school? Let me tell you, because everyone's trying to make it big. Well, they had drugs. It's horrible. I'm going to say, and I'm going to almost guarantee that they had for personal use, maybe not personal use. And let me say, folks, if you think that these kids are the only ones that had drugs in school, there's drugs in school all over the place. I mean, back in my day, Frankie, everyone was smoking pot allá on the side of a Hannah. They'd go to the little laguito in front and be smoking it up. Everyone knew this. And La Porter, everyone stood on the back wall smoking a joint. I mean, there's drugs in school, guys. It's not like they found drugs on these kids. They're horrible kids. It's everywhere. Have you been approached by any of the individuals' parents seeking your help in this unique situation? Just not yet. Not yet. But again, I'm willing to help anyone, everyone. Frankie, how's your show coming along? Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. People always would give me some slack and say, "What are you doing at 7 in the morning? Nobody's gonna wake up with you." And it's awesome to know that there is a little crowd out there in the mornings that they do listen, whether they're on their way to work, getting ready, or just having a cup of coffee. And one thing that I've been posting lately is numbers. We've been averaging, as crazy as this may sound, but at 7 in the morning, we're averaging close to 100, around 100 viewers. And I post these information not to boast, not to brag, but to show that there is a need for information to be relayed to our community. Erasmo, we don't have the luxury of having a great journalistic newspaper within our city that asks these questions, that present information to our community. So I'm very excited for the show. I do have some different ideas that I have been trying to teak with, more cameras and things like that. Just trying to make it fun as much as possible. But all in all, it's been going great. I've found my groove. But it is going to be seasons at Osmo. I know you do Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday. But I'm going to do seasons. Right now, I'm currently in my second season. I'm going to go hard up until election, up until December, early December. I'm going to take a break, and then I'll wrap things up and come back for season 3. It's just so much with production, with the time. For the 30 minutes, it does take me like 4 hours just to prepare, and I'm very hands-on in everything that I do in regards to production. So it is taxing. I applaud you for coming on in front of the community day in and day out, twice a day. I sometimes find myself asking, what the hell am I going to talk about? Well, but we're thankful that, our politicos give us so much material.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's been good. I'm very satisfied with the direction that Good Morning Bronzo is going, and excited for many more seasons to come.
Congratulations, guys. Frankie, Monday, Good Morning Bronzo, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 o'clock in the morning. Guys, check them out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, to the Facebook page. Guys, tonight we will have attorney Ricardo Barrera on with us, who will give us a little bit of insight in regards to what his thoughts are. And again, any other legal questions that you may have, maybe he could give us some insight in regards to PUB. Attorney Ricardo Barrera will be on with us tonight at 9 p.m. Guys, have a great day. Social distance, face showing, hand sanitizer. Still believing all that crap. I got a 9:30 breakfast brunch. Guys, be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless.